with Milana Leshinsky, and she is a business coach and the founder of CoachingGenie.com, which is a platform for running group coaching programs. And it's amazing. And Milana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm going to give people a peek behind the scenes. Milana has been a private client of mine, and I just wanted her to share what this has been like. It's been so much fun working together. I want to ask you, first of all, where were you in your business when we first started working together?
I was in a place where I had a lot of different products and programs, and I felt a little all over the place. And I usually have a lot of programs and products, but for some reason, when you and I met, I was looking for like an umbrella, something, so that I could focus my business, focus my marketing, focus my mind, and just feel that clarity and peace of mind that I know what I'm doing. Because when you put yourself out there into your niche, they need to hear a message with a lot of clarity and consistency. And I had a lot of different products and programs. And so I kept saying one thing about one product, another thing about another product. I just wanted all of it to kind of come together, and so that's kind of where I was. And I wasn't sure what it is. I have the software, I have group coaching programs, I teach virtual summits, I teach webinars, I teach joint ventures. Like I just do so many different things. And I have card decks, as you saw at the event where you and I got to spend some time together. I just like have a lot. I'm constantly creating something. And while it's a blessing, it's also a curse when it comes to effective branding and marketing. And so I was concerned, like if I were to ask somebody, what do you know Milana for? I had no idea what they might say. Like I truly didn't know. And I know that we can be in control of that narrative
Yeah,
of who we are. And
yeah.
I wanted to be more in control of what is it that I stand for and what am I known for. And I didn't have that clarity.
Mm.
So that's the place that I came to you for.
Thank you, Milana. Well, I'm curious because you have worked with some pretty incredible people, and what made you choose to work with me versus other options that you've had?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really connected. I've known about you through another group, and we kind of had a chat at the, start of our relationship. And I really liked the word that you used, lighthouse, be the lighthouse. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting word. I would like to be a lighthouse in my niche. I'd like for people to kind of get their way, to see me like I am their lighthouse for whatever it is they need. Well, what is the name of my lighthouse? So I was always wondering about that.
Yeah.
And so when you and I met in person, what surprised me was, first of all, you sat down with me and really talked, and you were curious about my business.
Mhm.
And at these kind of events, all people are about themselves.
Mm,
Like they're really into what is it that I'm here to do.
yeah.
And you were asking me questions, like you were really looking to help me and you were curious about what is it where I was. And we had a conversation about your business too, but I was like, wow, she's asking really good questions. And it made me feel like I got into a place of, um, I wish somebody would sit down,
Mm.
ask me good questions, and really took time to understand my business and me, and then help me figure out what is the name of my lighthouse. What should I be known for? Because I'm known for so many things. I've been in business for 25 years,
I know.
and I am, pretty well known in the coaching space. But what am I known for was always the question, right? I'm known for so many different things. And I'm in a place where like, I just want to really decide, what do I really want to be known for? Um, and how do I label it? What do I name it? What do
Right.
I name this thing? So
Right.
that's kind of where I came to you because I felt really heard. And this is something I shared with you earlier. there's a lot of people that I admire and I watch their business models and I ask them for advice sometimes and they'll give their advice. And then I get influenced by people whose business models are completely different from what I wanted to build,
Yeah.
whose clients are very different than who I want to attract. So I find that sometimes I will fill a program with clients, but because that program and messaging was influenced by somebody who is very different from me,
Mhm.
I end up with clients who are not fully aligned with my personality, my teaching style. And when I talked to you, I felt, oh, okay, now this is somebody I would love to be influenced by
Oh,
because you and I have some similarities in personality, um, teaching style, maybe a little bit, we're both slightly introverted,
hmm.
I think. And that attracted me to you because introverts are really good listeners,
Hmm.
usually, and they process stuff a little differently. And I felt like following your methods and suggestions and your path, I would arrive at a program and branding and messaging that would attract the right clients from me.
Right.
And that was a big one for me as well, because you kept saying, like, you're perfect, your dream clients. Even the first step that you had me take was to interview my perfect clients, my dream clients. Like, I want more of those. And I
Exactly.
never thought about it that way.
Hmm.
I would just want clients, whoever wants and like to be in my program.
Yeah, it's so
That was
interesting.
helpful.
Yeah, I think this work is, I mean, we talked about this too, Milana. I think this work is, I would say, impossible to do on your own, even if you're an expert at it. I'm an expert at it. I need someone else to see me. And I think that's just how it is. And it's so, yeah, it's so easy for me to kind of take all that information and see where you are in that mix, but to make sure it's completely you and not, because I've gotten in that trap too, where we start kind of regurgitating someone else's stuff. And it's like, that's not who you are though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes I would attract clients and then I would coach them and I would feel like I'm coaching someone else's clients. And that never felt good. Like, oh, wow, I feel like I'm a guest teacher in another program, someone else's program. So that was a sign for me that I'm in the wrong program. And also, I'm very aware that when it's misaligned, not only do you end up with clients you don't want to work with, but you also can't really fill your program the
Mm,
way that you could fill
right,
it just because it's aligned and the right people are attracted to it.
right.
And yeah, so the alignment felt really good when I was working with you.
Thank you. Well, I have a couple questions about what that's like, just from, again, I can't even see it, and it's really helpful to kind of look at it from different angles. What was different about the process that maybe was not what you were expecting or compared to what you were expecting?
Yeah. Um, so I haven't worked with a coach one-on-one in a while because when you get to a certain level, you kind of feel like you can do this on your own. You
Mhm.
already know everything, right? What 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 is it that I didn't know that would be helpful to me 25 years later? And
Mm.
so working with one-on-one coach was just very refreshing. But I honestly have never worked with anybody who gave me that much attention and was so responsive. Um, some coaches actually don't like it to work that closely with a client. Um, and they are more worried about the structure and the format of their coaching than serving the client.
Mm.
With you, it was completely different. You understood very early on that I work fast
Yes, you do.
and I generate ideas
Mhm.
very quickly and I become on a roll. And if I don't get some feedback, um, then I start searching and
Mhm.
sometimes I find the wrong answers. And then by the time I get to our next session, I've already moved on.
You're way over here.
Just I am over there. I'm like some, so you knew that you needed to reel me in a little bit by giving me just even like little nudges of answers and encouragements between our calls. Those were priceless to me. I mean, just your availability for private coaching was unheard of to me. Like I've never experienced anything like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's such an organic process. And
Yes.
everyone
Yeah.
does process differently. And I think I'm just picking up on, okay, where are you at? What is your need? Because some people are very different. They need to verbalize it. Some people need to write it. And I think, I mean, that's part of, I think with you, that writing and you do go fast and we
Yes.
covered a lot of ground. Was there a moment where you realized, okay, this is shifting for me? Was there some moment in the process?
The moment was when I did the market research interviews
Yeah.
and when I put the results into ChatGPT and asked it to analyze my niche, my messaging, my market, um, like, whoa, because before I would answer my own questions.
Mm,
I would give my own data. And when you put crap in, you get crap out of
yeah.
ChatGPT,
Oh gosh.
right? It's
Yes.
only great when you know what to ask and how to prompt it correctly. And so you actually had a really wonderful process for that. Um, and the ideas that I was getting were really great. And I just felt really seen by you.
Mm.
And I was also feeling like my unique uh, weirdness was
Yeah.
was honored.
Absolutely. That's what makes you you. That's
Yes.
so important to differentiate. Absolutely. It's
And
a huge benefit of people working with you.
the type of coaching that I really don't love is where they're telling you what you need to do. And yes, we come to coaches to get advice and get support, get feedback, but it's very different when somebody says this is how you should do it, this is how it works best, versus how does it feel when you think of doing this way? And oh, you know what? I remember the question you asked me that got me to hire you.
Okay,
I
what?
just
Now I want to
remembered.
know.
Yes, we were sitting on the couch at
Mm.
that event, and I already knew I was going to hire you. Like even by the time I finished the conversation, got home, and I immediately like contacted you. You asked me, "What would you love to do? Like forget everything you've done. What would you love to do?
What would you
What would be
really like
like
to do?
the dream program that you would create?" Because I was complaining to you that I just launched the program. It didn't feel very well, and it didn't feel very well.
Right.
And that's the conversation. And,
I
just
remember.
your approach, what would feel amazing? What would be your dream program? What would you want to do? And I started answering, spitting out those
Yeah, you
answers.
started
And,
pouring out, and I was like, there you go.
and you
It's
and
like
you
take
pointed
everything
out,
and put it aside. Like you get to start with a blank slate because sometimes it's the fresh,
yes,
easiest way to see things. And why not?
yes. And you pointed out that as I was answering the question, I was very lit up.
You're
And
you
I started paying
completely
attention. Oh, because everything that I answered to you was, yeah, these are the things I already have, and these are the things I love doing. Why am I making it so complicated? So that really resonated with me,
I
for
remember
sure.
that. I remember that. Well, we all do that, don't we? And that's why I just think having that outside look, and I like to look at the big picture and how, and you talk a lot about creating this beautiful open space in your life. And I like to look at that big picture and then now let's come back in, you know, go look at the what are we really creating and then how do we kind of, put it together. How how does it feel now? Well, let me ask you this. What specific results or changes have you seen now in your messaging, your offers, or how you feel about your next steps?
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Well, I came to you for branding and for like the umbrella, but what I actually walked away with was a brand new event, a live event. I haven't done a live event in 10 years. A brand new program that is not only a year-long program, but you help me see how to create a circular curriculum so that clients can come in at any time. Because I've always had cohort-based group programs where people start together and finish together. And I couldn't figure out, well, if this is a curriculum, how, like, there is a starting point and a finish point. Like, I can't have people join in the middle. And you helped me figure that out. You encouraged me because I kept saying, I just want consistent revenue. I love launching programs, but at some point I get a little burnt out and I just need that consistency so that I could be creative in between
Right.
launch and I could create what I want. And so having that, some people call it a rolling enrollment, some people call it evergreen. I like how I think you called it a circular
Yeah, it's like a
curriculum.
spiral. It's a
A
spiral.
spiral, you called it spiral,
Yeah,
yes.
because most of us need that consistency as well. Even the students, the members, they, after 1 year, what if they stayed for 2 or 3 and they got even deeper and even more mastery? Because we need that to really grow to the depths that we're really here to learn and do and become. And so just that
Right.
switch of, right, there's so
Well,
much better.
there was one thing that you said that allowed me to say yes to it because I really didn't like the idea of never having a finish point
Mm,
or always having to be there and always having to be on. And you said something like, well, why don't you build your program in a way that gives you those breaks? And I thought, wow, that's actually genius because I can design the program any way I want to. And maybe people want those breaks as well.
I love those breaks.
Yes, like they need
Yeah.
implementation breaks or breathing room or whatever you call it. The other thing that I wanted to do was to leverage what I already created and not have to create a whole new curriculum. So you helped me figure out how to do that as well and build it into my spiral curriculum format. So that was a big one for me. I haven't launched that program yet, but I'm very excited about it. And this is what, I know the energy of excitement will carry me there.
Yeah.
It also feels like a good fit for me. And I'm not scared of running a program that never ends like
Mhm.
I used to be because of how I structured. I still will take vacations and I'll still have, be able to work with partners and do smaller launches. So all of the things that I love doing are still part of it, including my breaks. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how it will go. And I also resisted you on the naming and the branding, and you ultimately just allowed me to follow my process.
Mhm.
And you didn't push a lot, but I ultimately came back to you and said you were right.
Just make it simpler for who you're serving. I'm always flipping that lens on what we do versus what they're seeing and wanting. That
Yes,
to be continually.
yes. So
Yeah.
you were not pushing, but you were nudging me.
Mhm.
And that's very difficult to do with, I would say, with a high level client who
Yeah.
thinks she knows everything already.
Hmm. Because you do know quite a bit. You
And
absolutely.
so,
Yeah.
how is it, what is it like to coach high level business owners who already have years of experience, have a lot of knowledge, but
Yeah.
still need that feedback and a reflection of what they're saying. So I think you have a really good balance um, for a high level person that
Thank you.
you can nudge and encourage,
Mm.
but you're not pushy and you are respecting and honoring their experience and how they feel about it. So you kind of like you drew it out of me.
I appreciate that. I was actually going to ask you that just because, if there was someone that was very experienced, very established, and they're on the fence, like, I'm not sure what I'm going to get working with Debbie because I know everything. You just said that.
Yes.
What would you say? And you probably just said it.
I think that it's really important to have a coach when you're at the top
Yeah.
because when you're at the top, you can also fall down.
Yeah.
And it feels even worse than when you're just starting out
Yeah.
because you've been at the top. And so you're wondering, like, what's going on? Why are things not working again? You need that refresher. You need somebody else's perspective. And I think that that's what you were able to give. Like, you were almost like my mirror, my gentle mirror.
Hmm.
Um, and it made it easy for me to consider your suggestions
Yeah. That makes
and what you were
perfect.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you want to share about your experience that maybe we didn't cover?
I would say, and you're not just a coach for somebody at a high level. I think it would have been wonderful to have you maybe 10, 15 years ago as well.
Mm,
For me,
yeah.
that you could see the mess of a product line that I created in my business and how I've always struggled to bring it together. But there's something that you always said to me is like, you are coaching Jeannie.
Hmm.
And as much as I love my software and I think it's amazing, I always kept feeling like, but wait a minute, I also have this program and I teach this topic and that topic. Um, but Coaching Genie has brought everything together for me.
Hmm.
It's a software where I built my process into.
Exactly.
And that's what makes me different and makes my business stand out. And that's where my messaging and my brand comes from.
Mhm.
And it's also easier to remember that way. And so, with everything that I have now ended up with after working with you, everything kind of comes together under one messaging, one umbrella um, thing that I am going to be known for, or that I want to be known for. And so the result is there, and I'll keep you posted on my event and my enrollment. And but at the moment, what it has done for me is that it made me feel clear and confident to move forward.
Mm,
And when I know that when I can do that, when I'm clear and confident, the results follow.
absolutely.
It's that messy place
Yeah.
can cause resistance and friction, lack of results,
Yep.
disappointment, and all those things that we face as business owners. So clarity is definitely underestimated.
Yeah. I think
And
it's
you are the best coach
thank you.
that I've ever worked with on getting that to
Oh,
that point of clarity and confidence in my business. So thank you for that.
that's high praise. Thank you, Milana. Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you're very welcome. Thank you for asking me to tell my story and to talk about you. I just adore you.
Same here. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you.